In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA preseason matchups, and I'll break them all down with free winning picks so you can bet smarter and win bigger. But first, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get our plays the second they drop, because when the lines move, the early birds cash in. And if you want the full winning sport picks experience, head over to wspicks.com and check out our VIP packages, or grab a free consultation with one of our professional sports consultants for the sharpest edge you'll find anywhere. That's where the real plays live. We are your bookmaker's worst nightmare. These are the games we're hammering, the ones the books can't afford you to bet. This is Winning Sport Picks. The free picks are about to drop, and they're coming in hot. We start in Orlando, where the Magic host the Pelicans. Orlando's laying minus 5.5 with a total at 230.5, and this is one of those preseason games where motivation meets structure. The Magic have been strong at home in these tune-ups, covering 4 of their last 5 in the building, and their emphasis on defensive cohesion early in the season usually pays off when facing teams still figuring out rotation chemistry. New Orleans, meanwhile, is catching plus 6.5 and sits at plus 210 on the money line, which feels inflated given how they've been shooting from deep in these exhibitions. However, when teams travel for these last preseason slates, they tend to shorten their bench minutes, and that usually benefits the home side with rhythm and pace control. Historically, the Magic have kept totals under this number when favored in October. The under has cashed in 5 of their last 6 home preseason games, largely because they control tempo and force opponents into half-court sets. With Orlando's defense clicking and New Orleans still adjusting lineups, I expect a controlled pace and tighter scoring margins. The play, Orlando minus 5.5 and under 231.5. Next up, we move to Detroit, where the Pistons are laying minus 7.5 over the Wizards. Total sitting right around 230. Detroit's been one of those preseason teams that plays with energy in front of their fans, regardless of record. The Wizards are catching plus 8 and plus 245 on the money line. And while that number looks tempting, they've struggled in spots like this. 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 road preseason games. Detroit's rebounding advantage and early defensive identity give them an edge. The preseason isn't about stars, it's about system execution, and the Pistons are showing more discipline. Washington, on the other hand, has been porous in transition defense, allowing opponents to score over 120 in 3 straight tune-ups. The total feels a tick high. Public bettors are leaning over due to flashy pace, but sharp movement has been toward the under. Detroit's bench units defend better than they score, and that creates longer possessions late. The play, Detroit minus 7.5 and under 230. We head to Atlanta next, where the Hawks are heavy minus 8.5 favorites over Houston with a total of 233.5. Houston's plus 9.5 on the board and plus 290 money line, and that number tells you everything about public perception. A young, chaotic team that can't finish late. But here's where sharps get value. Preseason motivation. The Rockets have covered 4 of their last 5 when catching 7 or more in October, and they have been excellent against teams that run early motion offenses because it keeps them in rhythm. Atlanta, meanwhile, has failed to cover 5 straight preseason games when favored by more than 5, showing a tendency to let leads slip. With a high total like 233.5, variance is key. Overs often get hit too hard by casuals expecting shootouts, but history says when totals close above 230 in Hawks preseason contests, unders cash around 65% of the time due to defensive adjustments midway through. I expect Houston to hang around longer than people think. The play, Houston plus 9.5 and under 233.5. Now let's go to Chicago, where the Bulls host Minnesota. The Timberwolves enter minus 4.5 with the total set at 234.5, and this matchup comes down to effort and execution. Minnesota's been crisp in preseason action, 6-2 in their last 8 overall, with defense being the difference. They're limiting opponents to sub 45% shooting while focusing on rebounding efficiency, something Chicago's second unit struggles with. The Bulls, at plus 5.5, have covered only twice in their last 7 home preseason games when catching more than 4. Motivation is questionable, and when you're seeing Minnesota consistently play with regular season intensity, that's a dangerous mismatch. The total of 234.5 is high, but understandable given both teams' pace. However, recent trends point to under-cashing in 60% of Chicago's exhibition games when facing defensive-minded opponents. Minnesota dictates tempo, gets physical, and makes you work for every bucket. Expect a grindy game that falls short of expectations on the scoreboard. The play, Minnesota minus 4.5 and under 234.5. We close in Salt Lake City with Portland visiting Utah. Portland's minus 2.5 with a total of 237. The Blazers are playing harder than most teams this preseason, 5-1 against the spread so far, and it's clear they're treating these tune-ups like a statement stretch. Utah, meanwhile, at plus 2.5 and plus 120, is inconsistent defensively and struggles to sustain pace late. When you combine that with Portland's recent trend of strong first halves and lockdown fourth quarters, you have a team capable of closing out on the road. Totals above 235 in Jazz preseason games have gone under in 6 of the last 8, mainly due to bench rotations slowing things down late. Portland's discipline on both ends makes them a value even as a short road favorite. Expect a game where they push early but keep control through measured possessions. The play, Portland minus 2.5 and under 238. Now listen to me, those are the free picks, but the one game I am unloading on tonight, the game that's going to crush your bookie's soul, that's the VIP play of the day at WSPicks.com. This is the nuke, the hammer, the max bet, the one play I've circled, the game that will bury your bookmaker 6 feet under. When it hits, and it will, your bookie is going to need a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe even a priest. If you want to ride with me on the biggest bet of the day, get to WSPicks.com right now. To recap, for October 16th, 2025, we're rolling with Orlando minus 5.5, under 231.5, Detroit minus 7.5, under 230, Houston plus 9.5, under 233.5, Minnesota minus 4.5, under 234.5, and Portland negative 2.5, under 238. That's a board built on motivation, pace, and preseason situational awareness, exactly how we've been cashing all week. This is Winning Sport Picks, where we don't just bet, we bury bookmakers. Smash that subscribe button, drop your favorite plays in the comments, and hammer that like button like you're hammering your bookie into the dirt. We're cashing, we're dominating, and tonight we're dancing on the grave of your bookmaker. Let's go!